WUWAH. Good morning. I hope you've slept well. My name is David. I can't tell you my surname or the name of the show within the first minute of the show because apparently the algorithm doesn't like swear words in the first minute. So I'm just going to use this time to give you some gentle encouragement before we get started. I hope you're out of bed. I hope you've had some water. I hope you've had some kind of breakfast, whether it's nutritional or just, I don't know, something. And I hope you've moved your body, whether it be exercised or just a little shimmy. On this show, I like to ask comedians about their morning routines because we all do our job at night, and I want to know if they're coping as badly as I am. I also ask them about their expertise. Today's guest is the magnificent Lauren Pattison. She is an incredible comedian. She was nominated for Best Newcomer at Edinburgh in 2017, and she was nominated for Best Show at Edinburgh in 2022. She's appeared on Drunk History and Roast Battles and Rahulastapa, BBC, Comedy Central. She supported Catherine Ryan on her world tour. I've supported her on her tour, and she is just a mint human being. She's also an expert on raving, so I'm going to be asking her about that today because my name is David Hoare, and this is Waking Up with a Hoare.
Waking up with a Hoare. Waking up with a Hoare. Waking up with a Hoare.
Okay, we are recording. So so like a nice thing for people to wake up to in the morning when they're sleepy and they're just woken up and you just put it on. So
lovely.
Not that you're particularly the rudest person in the world, but if you imagine when you're waking up and you don't want that as much.
Just very gentle. Yeah.
Go Bob Ross mode. I don't know. Do you know who Bob Ross is?
Yes. Oh my God, I'm doing a Bob Ross paint and sip in a couple of weeks, and I'm very excited. I love it. I've done one before, and they give you the wigs. It was great.
They give you the wigs.
So you got to wear the curly wigs.
Yeah.
And then watched on a big screen and painted a Bob Ross scenery. It was beautiful.
We've done. My girlfriend and I did it with a couple of our friends where we all kind of sat and followed the Bob Ross, but we had to pause it because when you're watching him do it, it seems so calm. He does it so fast.
That's what they would do, and they would let him do sort of a stage, and then they would pause it, and everybody would be like, "Oh, Bob, slow down."
Did you know, right? He was such a cheap operation that he had one camera, so he would do the same painting 3 times.
Ah. An economical king. I love it.
I know, it's crazy. And then he didn't take any payment from the show, and so he could pay the crew and everything, and then he just made all the money off of his merchandise and stuff. But it was such low budget stuff.
What a dude. I love that.
He's such a fascinating man. Did you know before that he was a drill sergeant?
Was he?
He basically decided he didn't want to raise his voice ever again. So he used to be a drill sergeant, then he was like, I'm just going to be the calmest man possible.
To be the gentlest voice you may ever know. That's a real shift.
Right. Exactly. It'd be like if Gordon Ramsay suddenly started doing meditation apps.
You never know. You never know.
Yeah.
He's getting to that age where maybe he might want to slow down in every sense.
That would be great, because then we would. Do you ever find it where stuff from your youth, people from your youth are now doing other things, and you're like, oh, they won't be known for the thing I know them for now. Like for our generation, I think people older than us would always go, oh, Lauren Laverne used to be in bands, and we'd be like, what?
Yes, whereas I'm like, she's DJ.
She's DJ, she's not in band. Whereas now, like the one that gets me,
Dick and Dom are DJs.
Dick and Dom are DJs, and well, they did so well because they obviously did CBBC, and then they realized that they could go and DJ at Freshers Nights.
Exactly.
And then they were like, we can make all our money off of our audience again, and now their audience are getting older, so God knows.
Yeah.
One that gets me is Natasha Bedingfield is now so much more famous than Daniel Bedingfield. But when she first came out, she was just Daniel's sister.
Daniel's sister, exactly. And now where's Daniel Bedingfield? Where is he? What's he
Where's he
doing?
gone?
Living off that
Where
got to
are you?
get through this money. That's what he's doing.
Exactly. I remember telling this to Andrew White, the comedian, being like, and now some people don't even know who Daniel Bedingfield is. And he was like, who is? He doesn't know.
No, stop it. Ah, that makes me
It's
feel so
unwritten. It's so much
old.
more. Yeah, sorry. It's a nice, soothing morning show, you know, just making you feel old. But like the because Unwritten is such a ubiquitous song now, I think.
Yeah, and these words.
Yeah, exactly. Those songs are just like so ubiquitous. Whereas Daniel's, he kind of rode the garage wave, and then that's kind of disappeared.
Yeah. And then funnily, Badger, who was a DJ, did a remix of Natasha Bedingfield, These Words. Was it These Words? Yeah, it was. Like a sort of UK garage sort of kind of remix. It went like viral on TikTok. She greenlit it to be like officially released. And like he brings her out at some of his shows and stuff. So now like I know I'm slightly probably too old for that generation, even though I do listen to that music. But now, like the whole generation below me will be aware of her probably through like, oh yeah, she's the one who's on that Badger song, and I'm like, no, she is the Badger song.
she is the Badger song. My brain, when you said Badger, because you'd mentioned Dick and Dom, I was like, what, from Bodger and Badger? And
Bodger and Badger. Bodger and Badger meets Natasha Bedingfield.
Everybody knows Natasha Bedingfield loves mashed potato.
Yeah, Bodger and Badgingfield. I would totally listen.
I'm here for it. Right. So, Lauren, are you a morning person?
No, I am not. That's why we're recording this at midday. No, I can't. I've always been like that, though. I've always been somebody whose brain is more switched on in an evening. So even at uni, I could go to the library at 9 a.m. and I could sit there for 5 hours and get nothing done. Not that I was like, you know, like distracted or messing around, but just I physically couldn't focus. But if you sent me to the library at 10 p.m. and told me you've got 2 hours to write 1,500 words, I could do it. I was much better at going in the evening. And I think that's then lent itself to everything I've done. So all my like jobs before comedy were like bar jobs, like hospitality job. Fair enough, hospitality, you're there through the day, but you know, a lot of time you're there till the bitter end. Bar jobs, all things like that. I felt like I was just always more focused in an evening, which then obviously probably lent itself very well to comedy. So I feel like and then I don't know if it's just because of how long I've done comedy as well, that my body clock is more like evening orientated. But I feel like everything I've done lends itself more to the evening. And I don't, like, to me, getting up early is 9. And I'm aware that that is not early. Like, for a lot of people, that would be a lie. But I'm like, 9 is, if you think like tonight, tomorrow, Friday, so tonight's Tuesday, sorry, I should clarify. Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday, I'm gigging. So that'll be like, what, getting back at, well, the ones that I'm driving from, I'll be getting back at midnight. So I'm like, well, I don't get home from work till midnight, and then you can't just go straight to bed. You can't, because you're too buzzed up. So if you then said to me, oh, you have to get up at 6:30, I'd be like, but I'm going to be so sleepy. Like, I could do it. I got up when we did my tour support in Bristol. So I must have gone to bed at midnight after the gig, and I was up at 4:30 for my flight back to Newcastle. So I can't do it. I can get up in the morning, but I prefer, so my ideal getting up time, 9:30. Set an alarm at 9 to be up for between 9 and 9:30. That is the dream.
Are you good getting out of bed?
Well, see, I have a dog. I don't know if you have this with Nala, but before pre-dog, pre-Ralph, the PR days, very hard to get out of bed, especially if you've got nothing to get out of bed for. Now I've got Ralph, he will tell you when it's time. He does like a lie-in. He lay in with me this morning because I knew this is like the last lie-in I'm going to get for like a few days. I'm like, oh, we'll have a little lie-in. So he did, but once he's clocked I'm awake, he's like, we're up, we're awake. And I'm like, but you've been lying next to me so peacefully all this time. But the second he clocks you're awake, and he's discovered, again, I don't know if Nala does this, that if he just repeatedly taps you, you will get up. You will get up. So he just taps and taps.
What's his methods? Because Nala, my dog, basically gets very straight-faced, but will just start annoying you and climbing over your face and being very... I mean, I'm very lucky. My girlfriend wakes up early and takes Nala out to do all that morning stuff. So then when I wake up, she's already kind of done that. She doesn't need to go out. So she's usually just kind of in the mood to annoy me. Like sometimes on like weekends when my girlfriend when my girlfriend's gone to work already, Nala just comes back onto the bed. So I wake up and then she's like somewhere on the bed and she's just like, oh, hey, how's it going?
Thanks for joining.
Sometimes her tail is just like smashing my face. But
that is cute.
When my girlfriend's at home, sometimes Nala's like, oh, I want to go wake up David. And then she's like leaving for a bit. Sometimes the door's open. I've woken up recently with her like nose to nose. Like that's how I've woken up, with her just being like, really? Which yeah, come on. But I'm slightly lucky in that I don't have that as much. But when my girlfriend's away, Nala will basically be like, we need to go now.
I am the provider of breakfast and the take her out in the morning. So sometimes once he's clocked you're awake, he'll get quite excited and he's like, oh, you're awake. He'll come and lie on you. He'll lick your face and kiss your face, which is very, very nice. That's sweet. I like that because I'm like, oh, good morning. But then the taps and the whine start. And then if I try and ignore it, he will jump off the bed, but then he'll go and just sit in the living room and whine, because my kitchen and living room are together, so that he knows that's where he gets fed. So there's only so long you can ignore it before you're like, I suppose I do have to feed this thing that relies on me.
Yeah, that's fair. Because sometimes when if my dog has already been dealt with in the morning, then I will accidentally stay in bed longer so that I can have morning cuddles.
Yes, I do like that. I love that a lot. And sometimes I will go and I'll put the breakfast get back into bed, and he will come through and we'll go and we'll have like 15 more minutes and then we'll get up and go for a walk. But my mom, when the clocks change, dogs don't understand that. Dogs do not understand. I feel sorry for people who've got kids when I've always seen people say it messes them up when like the clocks change. I didn't realise what they meant until I got a dog, and he'd be whinging at like 7 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, that's not what we do in this house. That's not what we do here. We're not a 7 a.m. household. How dare you? How dare 8? I'll get up at 8 and put your breakfast down and go back to bed for half an hour. We are not a 7 a.m. house. No.
I'm a big proponent of talking to your dog in like a human. And yesterday, I was walking my dog down the road and this guy had like, I think it was like a golden retriever or Labrador puppy, like really small. And when we walked past, he spoke to the dog as if it was like a 4-year-old learning to speak and went, Spaniel. As if the dog would learn what that meant.
What that was, yeah. It is Spaniel. I talk to Ralph like he's a person all the time. I think it's because it's just me and Ralph in the house. So if I don't talk to him like he's a person, then I kind of forget how to talk to people sometimes. But even today, he was lagging behind on the walk this morning, and I turned around and I went, come on, pick your paws up. And he instantly walks a bit faster. But there was like someone walking past us with their dog the other way, and you could see them looking as if to be like, why should you just told the dog to pick his paws up? And I'm like, because then he knows he has to walk faster. Pick your paws up. Like if I say, go and get your harness, he knows he has to go and get his harness ready for the walk. Like I just talk to him like a person, and I assume some of it will sink in. Like
there's intonation, right? And it definitely does work, because I think if you assume it doesn't work, then all of a sudden you'll be doing things and they'll pick up on it.
Exactly. I taught Ralph go team, which is he can't. Well, I taught him go team before I taught him stay. I only taught him stay maybe like a month ago, which I know is really bad. But he never used to do stay. And then Ralph got fat, like very fat. And I didn't realise he was very fat. So I took him to the vets and they called him Juicy. And I was like, oh, my boy. So then Ralph had to lose weight. And suddenly Ralph became a lot easier to train because he's hungry. So that dog was 4 years old and had never stayed in his life. Suddenly, if I've got a treat in my hand and I know that boy's peckish, then now he can do stay. But the only way he's been able to do it is because obviously I didn't realise that he was fat, so I've had to reduce his food. So now he's super, super food motivated. Even I took him for his, like, when they have to get their yearly jabs at the vet. I took him there a couple of weeks ago, and he does not like the vet. And she was like, is he brave or is he a baby? And I was like, he is, baby. He is the baby. So I'm holding him. She went, bear in mind, it's just like the yearly jab so they don't get whatever. She went to jab it in his neck. He like dived, like he was writhing around. She was like, he's deceptively strong. And I was like, he is deceptively strong. And I am the one trying to restrain him. And after a while, it was quite clear. He's not daft. He knew that this vet had something that she was going to jab him with. She went, is he okay with like treats. And I was like, he loves treats. So she put some treats down on the table. I shit you not, bear in mind, he'd just like been writhing around. He jumped from the vet's table. So she put some treats down. Instantly, he goes for those treats, and she broke them up into little bits, so he had to do a bit of like snuffling. She jabbed him in the back of the neck, and that boy did not even flinch. And I was like, right, so it doesn't hurt. It does not hurt, because if it hurt, you would have flinched. You were just anxious, as is expected, that a vet was coming at you with something. The second there was some treats down, he was like, stab me wherever, I don't care, actually.
I hate taking my dog to the vet because she gets a new kind of squeal that somehow is scientifically attached to my heartstrings. And I'm like it makes me like so sad. And she's just she's so anxious because of like previous surgery she's had to have. But I can't.
I think that's why Ralph doesn't like it, because his first couple of times he was fine, and then they took his balls. And I think he remembers. He's like, I used to have balls. And then one day I came here, they put me to sleep. And when I woke up, I had no balls.
No balls. Is Ralph your alarm, though? Or do you have a separate alarm system?
I have to be up, I set an alarm. And Ralph will either wake me up just before the alarm or around the time the alarm's going off. So I'm like, that's okay. On a day like today, I knew I could have a bit of a lie in. So I didn't set an alarm. And no, in fact, I did. I set an alarm just in case. But I knew I could still go back to sleep for a little bit. And then I woke up naturally, which was very nice. I was like, I feel so refreshed. And then the second I opened my eyes, Ralph was like, hi. Hi.
My dog knows what the alarm sounds like, and means that stuff's about to get better. So they're like,
exactly. To the point, if Ralph has the iPhone alarm on the TV, he's like, I thought we were already up. And I'm like, we are up. That's their alarm. Because it'd be like the like I've just got the standard iPhone alarm. And he's like, sleeping? And I was like, no, we're not sleeping. No, we are awake.
You've got to teach Ralph about diegetic and non-diegetic music.
Yes.
Which,
it might take him a while to wrap his head around, but we'll get there.
That's fair.
The dog who took 4 years to learn stay.
Yeah. He can't sit, but he does know what non-diegetic music is, so that's good. What do you have for breakfast? Do you have something you usually have for breakfast?
I'm discovering that I need routine and I need simplicity, and I also, as I spoke to you about in Bristol, need fibre. Like, we're not eating enough fibre. But I think I had it in my head that like, oh yeah, not necessarily for breakfast, but just for meals in general. Oh, you have to eat something different every day or I'll get bored. And I was like, no, especially for breakfast, find something I like and stick with it, because I'm not a morning person. I'm also not really a breakfast person. But I was like, I just need to find something that's dead easy and that I like. So I have been having for the last 2 weeks, and I love it. Although I did forget to have it this morning because my lie-in kind of scuppered my plans. But I'm going to have it. I'm going to have it as like a lunch pudding instead of my breakfast. It is 100 grams of protein yogurt, 75 grams of raspberries, 75 grams of blueberries, some chia seeds, 15 grams of chia seeds, because I think that's the maximum you're meant to eat in a day. But they're really high fibre. I did Google the other day, how many chia seeds is too many chia seeds? And I was like, I have been having too many chia seeds. 15 grams of chia seeds, and then honey on top. And it's like 15 grams of fibre. So it's like half your fibre in your breakfast. It's fruit, it's healthy. I'm getting 10 grams of protein with my yogurt. I pretend I understand protein. I don't know. Apparently you have to have lots of it. And it's just dead simple. And what I'll do is I've got like 2 little tupperwares. So I make kind of 2 days worth in a row. So I'll weigh out the raspberries, the blueberries, and the chia seeds. So then all I have to do in the morning is spoon in 100 grams of yogurt and put my honey on. And I'm like, sorted. And I've also got these little flavour drops, because I've read that some people don't like the taste of just like plain yogurt. I don't mind. But you can get these little flavour drops from a well-known protein website. And they're like no calories, no sugar, whatever. They just flavour. So I've got like toffee ones and marzipan ones. So I put them on my yogurt, and then rather than buying like a sugary toffee yogurt, you're just adding toffee flavouring to your protein yogurt. Gains.
Oh, huge gains.
That is
great.
My breakfast, and I love it.
That's good.
To the point, I'm in such a routine with it. I was in London last weekend before, one of the weekends, might have been last weekend, and obviously I couldn't have my, I call it my fibre fun breakfast. I couldn't have my fibre fun breakfast because I couldn't bring it with me because I didn't have a fridge, and I was really upset. I was like, oh, this is how you know you found a good breakfast. I've discovered you can also add a bit of granola to the top for a little bit of crunch, and I was like, oh, but I'm weird with texture sometimes with food, and some days I like the crunch, and other days I'm like, oh no, I don't like the crunch. No, so we're hit and miss on whether we have granola with it, but that is a good breakfast.
Because I prefer crunch and crisp to, as most of the time when people are like, what you could have for breakfast is this, and what you've said does sound tasty, and I would probably be able to eat it later in the day, but like it just sounds a bit too soggy for the morning. Like I do eat cereal, but it is like a race against time, because if
oh, you don't like the mush, I like the mush.
Soggy cereal is a crime against humanity in my eyes.
See, obviously I'm studying counselling at the minute, and there's one strand of counselling that thinks everything goes back to your childhood. So clearly, I must have loved baby food, because like anything, I will let the milk soak up the cereal so the milk goes soggy. Ice cream, I microwave ice cream, so it's like a soup consistency. I love mush. I say just discovered, like they're new. I just never had them. I've just discovered mushy peas. And I'm like, where have these been? Love these.
Right.
So I think I must have been big on the baby food. I must have loved my baby food.
I spent most of my childhood crying and screaming for
that
reasons.
Sounds about right.
Don't need to. Thank you. Yeah. You know how they say ADHD is caused by childhood trauma?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that makes sense as in regards to I probably wasn't enjoying my baby food too much because I wasn't enjoying anything at that stage. So thanks for uncovering.
Meanwhile,
this isn't even therapy. You're doing good in your course. That's good. And do you drink anything particular with your breakfast?
To try getting the habit of buying like a fruit juice or a smoothie and just having a little glass of it, because I'm very bad for remembering to drink, like very bad. So I've had my little glass of fruit juice this morning, but I'm the kind of person who I can wake up, get to, I want to say comfortably, 6 o'clock in the evening and realise I've not had a drink all day, but I haven't been aware that I've needed a drink, like I don't feel thirsty. And I just thought that was normal, but I'm rapidly learning it is not. But I don't, it's not like I've been thirsty and gone, oh, I just haven't had time for a drink, or I've forgotten to have a drink. I'm like, genuinely, until I sit and say, oh, you've not had a drink today, and then my body goes, you're actually quite thirsty. And I'm like, oh yeah, I am thirsty. But I have to sort of like remind myself. So this is why I'm also having to factor drinks. It's I'm like, if I pour myself a glass of fruit juice, then at least then I've had a drink then. Yeah. I'm trying to get in the habit. I put one of them big water bottles. So I fill that up and carry it around with me like a little hamster all day. And I'm like, right, I need to drink this.
Upside down one that you can...
That's what I need. I just need like a helmet with it attached to my head. And then I'll be like, oh yeah, I haven't had a drink. And then I can just...
You should get one of those hats that like they used to have in the 90s where you can put drinks in them with the swirly straws. Cans.
I need my hamster helmet. That's what I need.
And then someone will be like, oh, do you think this is funny? You're like, this is actually to keep me healthy. Thank you.
This is actually hydration.
Yeah, it's a new fad, hydration.
But I'm not a big hot drinks person.
No.
Not a big hot drinks. If someone was to make a cup of tea in bed and bring me a cup of tea, I would probably quite like that. But I'm not a big... I think, again, I had braces as a teenager, and I didn't like hot drinks and braces because the metal in my mouth would always feel really hot. So I'd never been a big hot drinks gal. Same with Mars bars. Did you have braces?
I did have braces, but I didn't really start drinking hot drinks until after that.
See, I got told as well when I had braces that I couldn't eat Mars bars because obviously it would snap the wire in your braces. And to this day, I still, even though I have free will and I could eat a Mars bar if I wanted to, and I like a Mars bar, I will not choose a Mars bar. And I think that goes again from having braces and knowing I just never ate Mars bars. And now I'm like, but Mars bars are lovely. Why don't I eat Mars bars? You're not 15 anymore.
They're very sweet. I was told I ate far too many bananas as a child, and my mum tried to get me to stop eating so many bananas by telling me that they made me ill, because they kind of were making me ill. And I think she then told me I was allergic to them, so then I didn't eat them for a long time. And then I found out that my mum had lied to me. So I was like, oh, I'll try eating bananas again. And soft texture. I don't like the flavor. They are hellish. But I don't know if that's because I was averse to them anyway. And then gone back to
when
them
you train yourself out of eating something. I tell Ralph everything's spicy. You know how people do that with kids when they don't want to share their food? Even though I know he's a dog and can't comprehend, I'm like, spicy. You can't have this. It's spicy. Is it spicy? No. It's a roast beef and mustard bagel, which is what I'm going to have for my lunch after this. But spicy.
Your dog has cottoned on to the concept of spicy.
Yeah. I'm like, too spicy. Too spicy.
Like,
it'll be a bowl of ice cream. And I'm like, spicy.
I'll have a korma. Is that all right? And you're like,
too spicy.
The incredible Ahir Shah is coming to Chops Comedy in Bedminster, Sunday, 14th of September. You will have seen Ahir Shah on Netflix, QI, Live at the Apollo, Have I Got News for You, Jurassic World Dominion, and he won the Edinburgh Comedy Award for Best Show at the Fringe in 2023. Ahir will be performing 2 previews of his new tour show at Bar 57 in Bedminster, a 6pm early show and an 8pm late show. Tickets available via Head First. You are a well-known raving expert.
An expert.
You're an expert on raving, obviously. I only get experts on this podcast. So could you just explain to the listeners at home who don't know, what is raving?
Okay, so it tends to be in either big warehouses that I don't know if have passed their health and safety checks, but we're just going to hope they have, or quite dingy little basement rooms. The music is very loud and very fast, and to a lot of people sounds like noise. But I think I've got such a noisy brain that I need noisy music to like balance that out, if you know what I mean. I read somewhere that a lot of people who have got ADHD like dance music and heavier music because it just works with their brain. And I don't know if I've got ADHD. There's a lot of signs pointing to that I'm somewhere on the neurodiversity Nando's flavor scale, which would make a lot of sense. But yeah, dance music, very fast. But what I like now, I don't think I could go to a normal concert again because it's the people. So I think people who go to sort of like drum and bass things and rave things, there is a nice sense of community. So people tend to be very friendly. Like I went to a night that was a bit more sort of housey in December, and they were rude. The crowd that they were pushing and they were shoving, and I was like, you don't get this as a drum and bass night, you don't. People are very nice and all lovely. I got very, very aggy about it. But yeah, There's been lots of lasers. So if that's what I like sort of, I can go and stand and listen to a band and be like, that's a nice song. But what I like about drum and bass is and like sort of dance music is because it's a DJ, there tends to be a lot of visuals as well, because otherwise you're just looking at a man or a woman. It's 2025.
Women can do things now.
Like,
whoa.
They give women headphones sometimes, you know.
Katy Perry went into space and now women can DJ. That's amazing.
Welcome to the future. But there'll be a lot of like, bee just flew into my window. There'll be lots of like lasers and visuals, and I really like that. So drum shed, I know there's a lot of hate on Drum Sheds, the venue in London, which some of it is rightly deserved, but they've got like just a massive big wall and means they can do a lot with the visuals. So if you stand at the back, which I am, I prefer to sort of stand at the back and like take everything in. It can be very nice. Very nice. Oh, Ralph has an appointment at the vets. Was that ping, if you heard that ping on your end?
That mean you need to go to the vets right now?
No, he's going on Thursday because he had cough. He had bronchitis.
Oh no!
Well, but yeah, so I like I don't know. I sort of, there's something quite fun about it, and I think I always liked that kind of music when I was younger, but didn't necessarily have anyone to go to the bigger kind of events with or the sort of festivals with. But weirdly, now I'm older, I've found my people who like those sort of things, and it's really nice. Like we're like a nice group. And just, I think there's something very lovely about those kind of things as well, when nobody takes themselves too seriously, and the people who do take themselves too seriously are kind of in the minority. And you can just, like, I will tend to pick a dance move that I'm going to do and just see how long. My favourite one is stir in the pot, like this. So after a while, I'll just start stirring the pot and see how many people join in. And you're like, it's just, I like to be silly. And I feel like at those kind of things, you can just be silly with your friends, have a dance. But I genuinely really, like, some people when I play the music, they're like, I don't understand how you like that music. And I'm like, I do. I do. I listen to it in the car. I listen to it at the gym. Like I listen to it all the time. But yes, I'm big fan.
I sort of have this theory that is very, based on what I've been told by other people, because I went to uni with a bunch of people who went to a lot of like mid 90s to late 90s raves.
Oh,
and also I've just heard a bunch of other things where it's like a lot of people went, like, as the rave scene kind of burgeoned, a lot of people were going to it and having the kind of time that you're having, which is a sense of community and a sense of fun, and really just having at the time of their life. And then people who are a bit more self-important heard that it was a really cool thing and then went to it, but they started trying to make it about themselves. And my friend was telling me about how you would go and it's like the more kind of wacky you dressed up or the wackier thing you did, people weren't laughing at you. They were like, nice.
Yes. Yeah. And I know there's a lot of sort of disparity as well. Like I'm on TikTok, but I don't use TikTok, if that makes sense. I scroll, but I don't post. There seems to be a lot of criticism about sort of like what people call TikTok ravers. So people who've seen videos of it and gone, that looks cool, but then they come and they're either not into the music, or they're just there to get in an absolute state, or they're just there to film the whole thing. But I think they did go through a phase of that where even I was like, oh, some people here are pretty annoying. But I think people get bored. So if it's not for you, that as a trend, it will sort of die off. You know what I mean? It'll be cool for a bit of people going, let's go to this thing. But speaking of the 90s, the best thing I've ever been to, probably the best night of my life, was Warehouse Project last year, a Hacienda night at Warehouse Project. And we went for my birthday, and I swear down, I'm kind of getting to the point now, so I'm 31, where I'll go to sort of a lot of these raves, and I know I'm one of like the older ones there, but I don't mind. Like, I'm there because I like music, I'm there with my friends. I don't feel like, oh god, I'm old. And there always will be older people there, but you're sort of aware that like a lot of people there are younger than you. Not at the Hacienda, my friend. I swear down, we were the youngest people there. Everybody, there was so many people in their 40s, in their 50s, even older. There was people who were our age who were there with their mums, their aunties. Like, nice. It was. And the crowd, like, I do think drum and bass crowds are largely quite nice. Obviously, there's always going to be some idiots. Obviously, this wasn't drum and bass. This was like more like sort of chants and like all that kind of stuff, and very peak 90s. But it was the nicest crowd I have ever been in, because everybody was older. So there was no pushing, there was no shoving. Everybody had plenty space. People were being so nice to each other. We made some friends in the smoking area, some older men who were lovely, and they were telling us about what it was like in the 90s in Ibiza, and we were like, oh my god, this is so, like, we were loving chatting to them. And then he started telling us that the COVID vaccine was a hoax, and we were like, goodbye, new friend. I liked when you were telling us about the 90s in Ibiza, but I don't need to hear that you think the vaccine is a hoax. But it was so good. And like Groove Armada, I'm going to see Groove Armada again in a couple of weeks, and it was just, the vibes were immaculate. It was Orbital played, it was and it was just a mix of, the music was brilliant, the crowd was brilliant, and I swear down, it is one of the best. Even though I'm more into my drum and bass than I am into like that stuff, I still love that stuff. But weirdly, that was my favorite night I've ever been to. I loved it.
That's great.
And people posted about it on TikTok. The what, sorry?
As when stuff catches you off guard, I think that novelty can actually make it even better. Like, I have seen a lot of, I'm like a live music guy. I go to DJ stuff and I kind of appreciate it, and I'm like, okay, I get it, but this isn't like my thing. But I love the fact, I love the fact that you can get, like, I think those TikToky people want to have a moment, whereas what you're doing is getting lost in it, and then you're like,
exactly. And the thing, I knew I was going to enjoy it. I knew I was going to enjoy it because I saw Groove Armada at Nostock last year. And every video that I've got, because I did take a couple of little videos, every video I've got, all you can hear is me going, this is a core memory. Oh my God, this is a core memory. They were phenomenal. They were so good. And I knew I was going to enjoy them, but I think I didn't realise how much. And I think that was the same with Hacienda. I knew I was going to enjoy it because I liked a lot of the people who were playing. But if you'd said to me, you're going to enjoy that more than you are a drum and bass rave, I probably would have been like, probably not, because I really like my drum and bass. But nah, top spot. Nothing. But loads of people, obviously loads of videos of it on TikTok, and people saying how amazing it was. Some people in the comments were like, oh my God, I'll have to go to the next one. And I was like, no. don't come and ruin it.
Yes, exactly. The difference between Festival 2012 and 2013. Festival 2012 was very much like they had capped it at like 60,000, and everyone was having a lovely time, and everyone was sort of in love with each other, not in a weird way, but just everybody was having a nice time.
Good
The next
vibes,
year,
yeah.
it was 80,000, and everybody,
Ooh,
and there were so many people there who's like, I thought this is the best place to come to get off your face.
yeah.
And the vibes were very different.
I've heard a lot of people say that, like, I have still yet to be successful to go to Glastonbury, but I've heard a lot of people say once they up the capacity, like, just the mood shifts, if you know what I mean, because more people can come, which is great, but maybe sometimes those people are coming for the wrong reasons.
Exactly, the wrong reasons. That's it.
And that's what I worry about Hacienda. If anyone listening to this wants to come to Hacienda 2025, if it happens again, only come if you're nice, please.
Yeah, only be cool. Don't go if you're gonna do it so you can tell other people about it. You've only got to go if you can enjoy it yourself. But what I was going to say was, the two things that caught me massively off guard was when I went to Sonosphere Music Festival, which is like a heavy metal music festival, but Gary Newman played, and I thought, oh, I know 2 Gary Newman songs. We'll just go see if he plays those songs. And it turns out that since the 80s, where he was like cool synthy, he basically was like, I think we're going to try and sound like Nine Inch Nails, and he got very heavy. And it blew not only my socks, but nearly every single bit of my brain off. And it was so surprising and so awesome that it's still one of the best things I've ever seen. And then, as I say, like I've seen so much live music and so many bands, but still possibly the best thing I've ever seen on stage is the stage version of My Neighbor Totoro, the Studio Ghibli thing, which I love that film, but I also know that trying to like transition stuff to stage is quite difficult, and I went in with medium expectations. And also, when it started, the 2 little girls are played by women in their 20s, and the first like 2 minutes was like, this is going to get annoying, and then by the end I cried 3 times, and I was like, this is the best thing ever.
Amazing.
But I think just catching you off guard is so important, I think, with those sorts of experiences, and you can't engineer that feeling. You've got
exactly.
Fair. Right then. Let's see if any other questions that I've one of the questions I've written down is, have you seen that video of the people in the 90s after the New Year's rave where they can't find their car and they're just in the car?
Yes, I have. Yeah. Have you seen the one where she's eating, what fruit is it? Melon or something? And like the video, and she's like chomping away on this bit of fruit. And she's like, it's lovely. And people in the comments were like, imagine you're just scrolling through TikTok and you see your ma off her face in the 90s eating a melon. Like,
that's lovely. Fantastic.
WUWAH. Just a quick message from me to say I also make music under the name Branching Audio. I make instrumental music, either ambient music or beats. I've just released an album of beats called Cassette Recollection under the name Branching Audio. It's like lo-fi, down-tempo, chill-out sort of music for fans of Bonobo, Nightmares on Wax, Mr. Scruff. It's available on Bandcamp and also all music streaming platforms. Please go give it a listen. I hope you enjoy it. Something to stick on in the background whilst you work. Also, it turns out if you make a playlist for it on Spotify, I get given that information. So what's the funniest name of a playlist you can put one of my songs on? I hope you enjoy Cassette Recollection by Branching Audio out now.
Well, as an expert on raving, I'm now going to give you a rave quiz, which I've written a theme tune for. Here is the theme tune. Rave quiz. Rave quiz.
oh, I like it.
Rave quiz.
Also, that reminds me, because I listen to so much drum and bass in the car, but I'm also an incredibly anxious driver. I regularly think people are tooting at me and I panic, and then I realise it's just air horns in the music, and I'm like, I think maybe I need to stop listening to drum and bass in the car, because I'll be like, who is tooting at me? And then I'm like, oh no, it's
that is fantastic. Okay, great. Question number 1, rave expert. What does DNB stand for?
drum and bass.
Oh, sorry. It actually stands for Denobra. So that's no points for you there. Oh, sorry. Question number 2. If a disco biscuit was an actual biscuit, what kind of biscuit would it be?
It would be a Twix covered in sequins.
Edible sequins?
Edible sequins. Yeah.
I'll take that. I wrote down custard creams, but I'll give you the point anyway. That's fine. True or false? You can only visit a warehouse on a full moon.
True.
Correct. Question number 4. When the DJ says reach for the lasers, should you actually touch the lasers?
No, but you should look directly into them. With both eyes.
Let's just say for whatever court hearing comes as like we get accused for making a bunch of people blind. Maybe don't follow that advice, or at least wear laser safety goggles. Anyway,
me and David both wear glasses. Don't follow our advice.
Yeah. It's got anti-glare, but I don't know if it's got anti-laser. But sure, why not? You can have a point for that. And question number 5: which synthesizer is credited for the invention of acid house?
Ooh. The 7.
The 7, nearly. You were 296 away. It's the Roland TV 303. So no points for you there, but you did get 3 out of 5, which is pretty
good going. That's pretty good. That's a 2-2 at university.
That is also why university is so confusing. You're like,
Desmond.
yeah, I got the Desmond. I look at 2-1 and everyone's like, drinking man's first. You're like, okay. Excellent. I'll let you keep your rave expert status. Congratulations.
Excellent.
Lauren, where can we find you online?
You can find me on Instagram at Lauren_Pattison. You can find me on TikTok, but I don't post anything, and I only have one video, and it's of Groove Armada at Hacienda. And if you listen carefully, they mix it with bicep. They mix super styling with bicep glue, and as the mix comes in, you just hear me in the background do like a roar,
Nice.
which I didn't realize until after I posted the video. But yeah, if you want to follow me on TikTok, I just have one video of Groove Armada, and I don't plan on posting anymore.
That's fair enough. Well, sounds like you've peaked. The dog barking in the background is Ralph just being like, well done on promoting yourself. Do you have anything you'd like to plug?
I will be pottering around the live comedy circuit all the time. So I put my gigs on my Instagram usually, which is Lauren_Pattison on the all Insta, on the all IG.
That is good. Can you please give me a title for a song and I will write that song?
Oh. Okay, so as a play on the band Panic at the Disco, and I would like Anxiety at the Rave.
Anxiety at the Rave. Okay, fun. That'll be a nice thing for people to wake up to. I did tell you the name of the show, didn't I?
I can see it's called on the thing WUWAH. WUWAH. So I was guessing Wake Up.
I kept on thinking that I told people I told the title, and then like at the end kept on saying, "Thanks for waking up with a whore," and then they're like, "Wait, what?"
I was going to guess Waking Up with Air Horn, so I was kind of close, but I don't know why I thought Air Horn. I think again that's just I go to too many raves.
Not enough raves, just the right amount. Well, thank you for waking up with a whore, and I felt like I did tell you, but again, my memory is whatever.
I think you did. Maybe you did. I think you did.
I think it's funny, but also I understand that some people might not think it's funny. But I think I'm just springing it on someone when they've just been on like a podcast. They're like, by the way, you're on. It's just like if you did an interview on a podcast and it was just called something horrific, and you're like, oh, I didn't sign up.
I approve.
Yeah, thank you for appearing on OJ Simpson Was Innocent podcast. It's lovely to have you. Well, thank you, Lauren Pattison.
Oh no, I'm anxious in the rave. What am I going to do? I remember hearing from the doctor the rave. Taking SSRIs in 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 the rave. Thank you so much to Lauren Pattison. She's absolutely wonderful. You can find her at Lauren_Pattison on social media, and Lauren-Pattison.com is her website. Go sign up to her mailing list. She's absolutely brilliant. Also, at time of release yesterday, Lauren Pattison ran the Great North Run to raise money for a campaign against living miserably. And if you'd like to donate to her Just Giving page, there should be links somewhere here, or you can find it via her social media. But please go donate to her for being so wonderful, because she's just so wonderful. The way this show works is on Monday I have a guest episode, and then for the rest of the week, Tuesday to Friday, I do mini morning encouragements, which is basically just a shorter version of this with a bit of encouragement, a bit of nonsense, and I tell you what I've been up to. Please, if you haven't already, go listen to Cassette Recollection by Branching Audio. It's my brand new album. It came out on Friday. It's instrumental beats, like lo-fi, down-tempo, chill out for fans of Bonobo, Lemon Jelly, Nightmares on Wax, Mr. Scruff, that sort of stuff. It contains a load of old cassette samples I found that my dad recorded, including himself, me, and old things that I think only he had a copy of. I hope today that you keep it simple. I hope you eat 3 meals. Please tell the people in your life that you love them, and make sure you wind down before bed, because I keep on forgetting to do that, and then I just go straight from playing Silksong to getting into bed, because I own Silksong now. Hooray! I'm loving it. I hope you'll join us again next time, but until then, my name is David Hoare, and thank you for waking up with a whore.
Try and have an adequate day. Meet your basic needs and don't be a dick.